Now let's jump right into the conversation, because today we want to look at some very interesting things that are happening around, across Africa that still affects Nigeria. Now, the legal battle over Chidimma Adetshina's right to remain in South Africa is far from over. What began with controversy over her, participation in the Miss South African pageant has evolved into a complex dispute involving citizenship, immigration status, and allegedly fraudulent documents. Now, the latest court proceedings have now been postponed to February 2027, next year. Next year, long, pending a decision from the Western Cape High Court. So, what exactly is at stake? And what happens next for Chidimma? Now, joining us is Velani Ludidi, the senior reporter at the Education Desk, who has been following the case closely and is here to give us, updates on that. Good evening, Velani. Can you hear us? Welcome to Take Three.
Yes.
Good to have you here, Velani.
Good evening, guys.
All right. So now let's...
thank you for having me.
Yes, it's the pleasure is ours. Now, let's jump right into it. Let's strip away the pageant controversy. What exactly is the South African government accusing Chidimma Adetshina of? Because it's looking like it's a bit complex now. But what exactly is the issue, aside the pageant?
Yes, indeed. Look, as you have correctly said, this began with the pageant, which she entered in 2024, where she was entering Miss South Africa. And then after the circulation of that video, I think it was her and her family where they were celebrating progressing further into the pageant, and then South Africans started questioning her name, how did she enter, and questioning her identity. Is she a South African? Which then led to investigations by the Department of Home Affairs, which deals with citizenship and documentation in the country. And it was then established that Chidimma's mother had stolen someone's identity, and then Chidimma's mother's citizenship then was revoked because she only got it because she had stolen an identity. This then affected Chidimma Adetshina's status too, including that of a 3-year-old son. So basically what happened, while the department is not entirely accusing her of any wrongdoing, they are arguing that her identity, her South African citizenship, is a result of a rotten tree, because her mother received her documents illegally. Then that means whoever was registered under that Abigail, Chidimma's mother, is also then in the country illegally. Chidimma, when turning 18 in South Africa, if your birth registration was registered in South Africa, if you can prove that you've lived for 18 years in South Africa, you can apply to the Department of Home Affairs for citizenship. But that does not automatically mean that it is guaranteed you'll get citizenship. But there are people who are in the country who are parents whose parents were not born in South Africa, but the child was born in South Africa after turning 18. They make a representation to the Department of Home Affairs, who then decide on whether to approve or decline that citizenship based on whatever information you've provided. And the decision is entirely on them. So Home Affairs is arguing that she had not gone through that process. Because remember, also, I must also say that Chidimma did not see the need to go through that process, because remember, her documents are valid because she got a South African ID, a birth certificate, but they were gotten illegally by virtue of her mother being an illegal in the country and illegally getting her status too.
Interesting.
Looks like the mommy is the issue then. But of course, Velani, you're still with us. We'll go on a quick break. We'll be right back. Stay with us. You're still watching Take 3. All right, welcome back. You're still watching Take 3. Now, remember that you can be a part of all of our conversations. Drop a message on WhatsApp and on YouTube as well, where we are streaming live. Now, we're still talking about the Chidimma Adetshina case. And of course, we have senior reporter, Education Desk, Velani Ludidi. Velani, if you can hear me, we continue the conversation now. So you've said a lot about this, and we were talking about it off air, that why not just hold mommy, and leave the girl alone? But right now, where does the case currently stand? And the postponement yesterday, what does it actually mean?
Okay. Look, what essentially happened is that there are two court cases currently. This is now only involving Chidimma Adetshina and her son, which is the regional court, which was heard yesterday. And Chidimma, through her lawyers, have launched another application with the High Court. So the magistrate at the regional court decided that she cannot take a decision because, so let me just go back. Home Affairs went to the regional court asking to actually detain Chidimma Adetshina while they process her and make a decision on whether to deport her back to Nigeria. But now, Chidimma Adetshina then, through this court, is fighting that she be not detained.
Okay.
And then in the High Court, she's fighting her deportation, not to be deported back to Nigeria. At the center of all of this, Home Affairs says, after they found out that Chidimma Adetshina's documents were, as I said, as a result of a rotten tree, which is, according to them, is the mother, they communicated with Chidimma. She was in Nigeria at the time, and she had taken up Nigerian citizenship. And this is one of the arguments that Home Affairs is using, that while Chidimma claims that she knows no other country than South Africa, this is from an affidavit which I've read, where she's arguing this in the higher court now. But she has taken citizenship in Nigeria, and they're saying that that is her home. She should go back to Nigeria, because if she did not have a home, she shouldn't have taken the Nigerian citizenship. So, but now this lower court is saying, let's wait until a decision is taken by the higher court, because any decision taken by a lower court, it will be null and void if it does not align with the higher court. So she did also previously ask Chidimma Adetshina's lawyers, together with Home Affairs, can't they reach a decision together where they say, look, we're posing this court application, we're waiting for the higher court to make a decision on this. But Home Affairs is saying, we have arrested Chidimma Adetshina because she entered South Africa illegally after we have communicated that we are nullifying her documents. So Chidimma at present has a South African identity, which she used to enter through Mozambique, which Home Affairs said that we had flagged her that her documents are null and void. She should have not entered the country that way, which is why they went on and arrested her. But also, I must also mention that I do believe, this is my personal opinion, that the court, which is the lower court, made an error when it postponed the first court appearance by Chidimma. Home Affairs, when they arrest any person who's in the country illegally, they have 48 hours to bring that person before a court, where they are applying now, whether to detain that person. The court can grant them, it can say, okay, you can detain this person for 30 days, 60 days, or ask an extension up to 90 days while they process deportation. But what the court did, postponed the matter, which then gives Chidimma and her legal team the leeway to make an application to the High Court, which then leads us, which is why now she's not arrested, and also she's outside, meaning that until the High Court makes a decision, which I think it could take several months, it's not an urgent application, and so it can take quite some time before a decision is reached there. At present, she remains free and she remains to be in the country, and she's keeping the documents. And part of her argument was that I can give back these documents to Home Affairs if they just say that they are not going to detain me.
Okay.
Now, we would like to ask, at the heart of this, Chidimma's documentation issue, what exactly is Home Affairs alleging that was fraudulent about the process? What is their case? What is Home Affairs' case right now?
Home Affairs, their target initially was Chidimma's mother. Okay. Chidimma stole someone's identity to get her documents. Okay. So that's where the crime starts, according to Home Affairs, that Chidimma's mother stole someone's identity and was registered as a South African. So whoever is registered under Chidimma's mother is not registered properly. That needs to be fixed. So that's where Chidimma is I know people have been asking how is Chidimma involved in this? It's her mother, and also what makes a twist that was brought by Chidimma. Chidimma made a big mistake by taking that citizenship, Nigerian citizenship, because now it means that she has another home, which is Nigeria, while she claims she knows no other home. Remember, according to her court documents, she has never stayed more than a year in Nigeria. If she had not taken that citizenship, it would have been a strong argument to present in court, because if you were born in South Africa and you have never lived more than a year outside of South Africa, you can then go to Home Affairs and apply to be naturalized, to be a citizen of South Africa. But also, again, that is not automatic. It depends on what your argument is, and then the decision lies entirely on Home Affairs whether to grant you citizenship. But as if you look at soccer players who are playing for South African teams in the Premier Soccer League, they are granted citizenship after spending certain years playing in the country. She could have used those arguments, but the other issue is her. And also another issue is her ignoring Home Affairs when they contacted her and say, look, we'll find out that your registration was done illegally, and we want you to come and present and make a presentation to us so that we can figure a way out of this. They are arguing that Chidimma ignored them. At that time, it was during the height of the Miss Universe competition, so she was out of the country. They said that in court. We've even sent WhatsApp messages to Chidimma because we couldn't reach her via email, and she did not respond. But she's arguing against us, saying that she has tried to rationalize her stay in South Africa, but Home Affairs have not given I have not given her enough time to do that. Home Affairs is also arguing that Chidimma submitted false bank statements when she was applying for South African citizenship. That is yet to be tested. It will be tested when the case is being argued in court.
All right. Velani, well, this conversation, I believe there's a lot to unpack and unfold as it goes on every now and then. But definitely we would reach out to you again to join us to probably break down more as the case unfolds. And we thank you for giving us your time to break this down as well. Thank you very much for joining us.